Hello, my name is Alketa Lasku. Welcome to this session, and I will be sharing with you the examples of terrorism in Albania and Kosovo to how we have been building child safeguarding in schools in the education system. I'm based in Budapest and I work as a regional child protection and safeguarding advisor for terrorism in Europe. And together with my colleague, Eleftheria Aravidou, we'll be sharing our experiences and our practices and how we have been working on building a child safeguarding system in schools. But as well, Eleftheria will be sharing how they have been working on child safeguarding, having at the core child participation in the summer camps in Greece and Romania. But first, I would like to share what it is, terrorism, and who we are. Terrorism is the leading Swiss organization for children aid. We are committed to bring a meaningful and lasting change to the lives of children and youth, and especially to the ones who are more at risk. We are working across the globe in different countries, around 40 countries, and in different regions. As I mentioned earlier, I'm working in Budapest, and in Europe we have 7 delegations, but as well we have delegations in Africa, we have delegations in Middle East, and as well in Asia. But what it is child safeguarding for terrorism? So terrorism sees child safeguarding through 2 main dimensions. The first one is preventative. We see really child safeguarding as all the opportunities and the actions that we have been putting in place to make sure that we reduce the likelihood of a child being harmed through our programs and interventions. The second dimension is responsive, and all the actions that we make, that we put in place and that we implement in order to make sure that when concerns are raised or situations of suspected harm or abuse are identified, there are appropriate actions taken in order to make sure that the child is assisted to prevent similar situations from occurring again, if possible. We have our set of policies that I will be just screening through. So we have a global code of conduct, we have a child safeguarding policy, we have a policy on prevention of sexual exploitation and abuse, and we have a directive on staff misconduct in the working place. What are some of the milestones when it comes to our safeguarding journey? So first, we have an extensive proven experience in working on system strengthening or developing the system of child protection across the globe. We have a 7 years experience of the regional hub on designing and running a first learning platform when it comes to child protection, targeting specifically child protection professionals in Europe. That is called the Child Protection Hub. In addition, we have 6 years of experience working and running the Safeguarding and Resource Hub, a global learning platform. We have the practice of establishing a specific safeguarding hub for Eastern Europe as part of the Ukrainian emergency response that was in Romania, Moldova, and Poland. We have been for 7 years the partner of UEFA on building their system on child safeguarding. We have been working in addition in Romania and Greece on keeping children safe in sports. And as I mentioned earlier, Eleftheria, my colleague, will be introducing this experience. We have 6 years of experience working specifically in Albania and Kosovo in child protection and safeguarding in schools that I will be sharing it with you. In addition, another partnership that we are proud of is the partnership with the NGO Academy close to the Vienna University, where we have been designing a training package for civil societies working in Central Eastern Europe, specifically for child safeguarding. What was the journey that terrorism, Albania and Greece as well, and Kosovo has been taking when it comes to safeguarding? So first, it started with designing a manual and a practical toolkit. It was piloted in 5 regions for 4 years. The piloting phase lasted 4 years, and after it was sustained by the Ministry of Education with 2 more, it took 2 years. And so overall, the program lasted for 6 years. It had a specific focus on school psychologists that they were identified as a child safeguarding focal points. The intervention, it was embedded in the local child protection system, and it was really the core of the aim was really to strengthen the local child protection system, and it was sustained by the Ministry of Education through a sub-legal act. What was the approach? So the approach that we have been implementing, it was really having the child at the core of the intervention, and we worked very closely with the school psychologist as the main interlocutor of the program, in addition to the parents and communities and the child protection workers. Like myself, I have been involved directly in the implementation of this program, and I can really see and share with you that the experience that we have seen, when specifically when it comes to consulting children on designing their own school child safeguarding policy and receiving all their feedback and having actually the policy in their version displayed in the classrooms or in the corridors of the school, has been really welcomed and appreciated by children, in addition to working with parents and the community members as a crucial part, just because this program was really built around these core fundamentals of the school as the main collaborators. So as mentioned earlier, really the aim was to build a local safeguarding network and in the schools. And the school psychologists, in this case, that was the child safeguarding focal points, it was working very closely with the school director, with the social workers in the schools, with the teachers, with the representatives of the students' governments. In Albania and Kosovo, we had students' governments in place, with the school doctor, with the child safeguarding task force that it was established within the framework of this program. For cases that were going at high risk, that they were going beyond the mandate of the school psychologist or the internal school child safeguarding focal points, they were referred to the child protection workers, with the police inspectors, and with the students. In order to design this program, but as well during the implementation, it was paid specific attention to develop specific standards when it comes to keeping children safe in schools specifically. Those standards have been based on the Keeping Children Safe Global Alliance standards, and they were as following. So first, to have a child safeguarding policy written and approved, to have the implementation of the policy in practice, to make sure the prevention to harm to children is not happening and it is stated in the policy, to have a code of conduct for children, to fulfill these standards, and to have a specific action plan and as well an annual plan, to make sure that all children have equal rights to be safe, the policy to be, and the code of conduct, of course, to be in a child-friendly language, to have training and awareness raising on child safeguarding for education staff, but for parents and for community members, to have the services available for counseling and emotional support, and to have implementation and monitoring of the standards. But how were the standards implemented? So first, it was established a task force for child safeguarding, and the task force had different members, such as the director of the school psychologist, the teacher, the parents committee, and the students' government. This task force has been working on developing a specific action plan, and for developing this action plan, they had to fulfill a self-assessment when it comes to child safeguarding, and the self-assessment had the before mentioned standards, so stipulated specifically on specific articles and situation of what should be in place to fulfill the standards. So after having the plan of action, the task force worked really on the implementation of these actions and to have specific sets of indicators when it comes to measuring the impact of the intervention. What I do consider as a really good practice of this program implementation was the assignment of the child safeguarding focal points in schools, and in this case, in the context of Albania and Kosovo, it was the school psychologist, or in your case, it might be as well a teacher if you want to implement it with extensive experience that provides direct services, so is in direct contact with children who are more at risk of being harmed or in need. is in charge for conducting risk assessments for different events, provide counseling and trainings for education of the staff and the parents. And the toolkit and the manual that was developed for this has a specific JD, specifically stating all the roles and responsibilities, acts as the focal point for the multidisciplinary groups in response to the child protection needs. That was it is expected from this role. It is referring the cases in need for protection to the child protection workers, especially the cases of high risk that they need another response, so another level of engagement. Of course, it was referred to the child protection workers. It is in charge for organizing different prevention activities with students and parents, and it is following up the cases that are identified within the schools. And in addition to that, it is monitoring the implementation of the child safeguarding policy. What are some of the recommendations or some lessons learned that we have been withdrawing in terms of good practices? So the first one is really to take the time to contextualize the theoretical models and practical tools. So out of the 4 years of the piloting that we have been involved in, we saw that really it has a crucial importance to take the time to contextualize these tools, because there are different needs, different resources in a remote city compared to another big city. This might sound sometimes a cliche, but actually it is super important, because it is really making the participants in the program to feel the ownership of this intervention, to be sure that you work at the local level with the school staff, to have the children and parents at the center of the intervention, to really assign a focal point on child safeguarding, and to sustain the intervention by involving the Ministry of Education since the start. Some of the lessons learned through the voice of our collaborators. So one school director has been saying that this project has been giving to us structure to improve child safeguarding in schools and showed us the practical basis of the improvement. And school psychology in the schools will be still continuing. Another social worker has said that the education system is more effectively incorporated into the local child protection safety nets. So that means, and it is really an important learning, that they are not working as two separate entities, the social worker department within the local municipality with the school, but they are really working together in a network. Now, the vice director of a school said the children know who to go for help, and within the school we have created a safety net, and working with all the parents has really improved the level of understanding, and they are more accepting of the work within the school. Really, another school from Elbasan has said that helping each other is something we do every day, every moment, and our school has a child protection safety net for students, psychologists, and teachers. Where you can find some of the resources that I have shared with you in the upcoming slides. I'll be sharing that we have a TdH online safeguarding course, that it is really explaining the standards and procedures that Elbasan has been following. We have as well a toolkit and the manual that are available specifically on child safeguarding in schools, that are available on Child Hub. We have the resource and support hub. This is the website. You have different resources when it comes to safeguarding overall, not only child safeguarding, in different languages across the globe. In addition, we have the Child Protection Hub and all the resources that you have in the Child Protection Hub. And for specifically, if you are interested on child safeguarding in sports, here you have the UEFA website that we have been working specifically on child safeguarding in sports. Thank you very much for your attention, and I really hope that this was useful to you. At any time, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Eleftheria Aravidou and I am the Mhpss coordinator for TdH Greece. I would like to thank you for joining this session on sharing TdH Greece practice on empowering child safeguarding and child participation in summer camps under the project of keeping children safe in sports. Why it is important to integrate child safeguarding in summer camps and other recreational activities for children. Every year, thousands of children decide to join and participate in recreational activities such as summer camps, as this can empower a healthy development pattern for them. However, we should also be aware that children, even though they join a context which is commonly accepted as safe, they can be exposed to a wide range of risks and dangers, which can have a detrimental impact on their well-being in the long term. Reported cases worldwide of child abuse in sports and recreational activities prove that institutions that do not have defined and specific procedures of reporting and/or responding timely and effectively to possible risks of alleged child abuse cases may provoke further harm to children. For this reason, in keeping children safe in sports, we aim to promote child protection and safeguarding through the reinforcement of relevant policies and procedures in children's summer camps. We intervened at 4 different levels: by building the capacity of the professionals around relevant issues, by helping them and developing together tailored child safeguarding policies and institutionalize them in their own settings. We also shift our focus to amplifying children's and youth voices by empowering them to claim their rights and learn how to be part of their own self-protection, and also protect their peers through their engagement in playful and interactive child safeguarding activities. And as this project was in collaboration with TdH Romania, we also empowered multiculturally exchange by sharing lessons learned and good practices for future implementation. The aims of the project were met of the implementation of various activities, starting with the research on the system of child safeguarding in summer camps, which highlighted the need of developing a comprehensive child safeguarding policy and also building knowledge around child protection issues, especially knowledge and skills on how to identify and how to respond effectively to possible concerns of alleged child abuse cases. In these projects, we were more than happy and delighted to have with us 20 different summer camps across Greece who achieved to integrate child safeguarding processes in their recreational settings. Having also as a goal to empower children's and youth voices, we established a child advisory board who provided vital input to the project in all levels of implementation. Our youth advisory board, we had 14 youth participating, at least one, from 16 to 21 years old, and all of them had a large experience on summer camps, either as participants, camp goers, or as camp leaders. CAP members concluded that it is important for all people involved with children to act for protecting them and supporting them, as they brought up various examples of everyday challenges and difficulties that children in the camps possible experience or themselves they have witnessed. So it is of a great importance to build capacity of summer camp members on child protection and child safeguarding issues so as to know how to provide support to children. Also, it was highlighted as critical to have a child safeguarding focal point where they will be able to report their concerns and know step by step which is exactly the procedure they should follow when they do have a concern. Within the project, we developed some training manuals and various of resources. Specifically, a training guide for staff working in children's summer camps and sports around child protection and child safeguarding, and also a manual called Colorful Shields, which is actually safeguarding self-protection activities for children, along with the implementation guide for camp and sports club. Aiming also to further build the capacity building of the professionals, we conducted several trainings in 3 different stages. In the first stage, we provided trainings on the management team of the summer camps. Later on, I conducted training of trainers to summer camp staff so as for representatives to assume themselves the training of their colleagues. and of course various seminars to the wider summer camp staff on child protection and child safeguarding. Having in total 170 professionals working with children in summer camps to be trained on how to secure and how to develop a safe environment for children in such settings. Having as an aim also to help children deepen their understanding and knowledge on child protection, child safeguarding, and also to empower them to be part of their own self-protection process, we piloted in Greece with the participation of a total of 130 school-age children in 6 summer camps, safeguarding activities based on the manual we developed, the colorful seals, which was actually interactive, participated and playful activities that help children know how to better protect themselves and also how to respond to a peer that may be in need of protection. Children, after the conclusion of the activity, said to us that now I know how a child can be protected and protect others from abusive behaviors. I had an awesome time. I'm very happy that I came. Don't be afraid. Open up and talk. We learned that we have the power to help a peer that is in danger and feels unsafe, and more. Together with the management team of the summer camps, we developed and tailored child safeguarding policies with 20 different summer camps who were also certified with a safe environment for children certification, which actually refers to the existence of a safeguarding policy and the establishment of the framework. The logo of the Quality Awards and the certification was chosen after launching drawing competition among children from 5 to 14 years old, with the 5-year-old winning the prize. Also, complementary activities around ongoing learning and capacity building, awareness raising, and advocacy were held around the conclusion of the project. An awareness raising campaign for the public was launched in the media. An online course was developed and made available to the general public, available on Child Hub. Also, for advocacy and awareness raising reasons, we held 2 roundtables with authorities and stakeholders. We launched 1 webinar on the case example of the Child Advisory Board as a youth participation tool. And last, we participated in 1 international conference in Bucharest for sharing lessons learned and good practices for future implementation on the importance of creating safe environment for children. Best practices and lessons learned were identified following a joint qualitative research with the stakeholders of the project. And we concluded that child safeguarding policy should be a requirement for all organizations and institutions providing services for children, along with the assignment of a focal point for such cases. Also, it was highlighted the need of providing regular and institutional trainings on child protection and child safeguarding, and also establishing a state certification for safe environment for children, along with enactment of a procedure for supervising and evaluating this certification process. Additionally, organizing regular awareness raising campaign on the development of safe environment for children was highlighted as important. So an optimal pathway for integrating child safeguarding was suggested and could be seen as a 2-stage process, with the first stage following a 7-step approach, where organizations should adapt a child safeguarding policy, commit to institutional changes required by the new procedural standards, and at the second stage, to focus more on building a mechanism for reporting and addressing concerns, a mechanism that all relevant stakeholders know how to use, how to raise concern and feel confident with actually putting it in practice. So it is paramount that all parties involved in the provision of sports and other recreational activities to children to take appropriate action to foresee any possible risks and also to eliminate the likelihood of any harm occurring to children in that settings. I'm going to close this short presentation with a message shared during the final conference in Bucharest by a member of our Youth Advisory Board, highlighting the importance of integrating child safeguarding.
Salud. Hello, I'm Konstantinos. I'm 18 years old and I am a member of Child Advisory Board. It is crucial for children to know how to protect themselves. We constantly witnessing shocking incidents that violate children's and human rights. And for this reason, we need to be able to have the tools and knowledge to protect ourselves, either we are children, youth, or adults. We can make sport academies and summer camps safer with adopting policies and actions that ensure children's safety. The activities we have participated in keeping children safe in sport could be one of these actions. Everyone needs to deeply comprehend the importance of child protection. Specifically, decision makers should strive for ensuring the best interests of children and raise future generations that are more sensitive and aware on child protection issues, as this can affect us as human beings. Thank you. Pekurant.
Thank you so much for your attention.